Another visitor. Stay a while. Stay forever.
Hello again, everyone. I know it's been over a month since you saw me last, and last time was that dreadful Action 52 business. Speaking of which, hold on a second. Sorry, I had some unfinished business. Anyway, Splatterhouse, released in 1989 by Namco for the TurboGrafx 16 system. Splatterhouse is a side-scrolling beat-em-up with a horror theme. In Splatterhouse, you play Rick, a college student who's visiting a mansion known as Splatterhouse, so named due to the rumors of horrible experiments performed there by the previous owner. Upon entering, he hears the scream of his girlfriend Jennifer and blacks out. When he comes to, Jennifer has vanished and he finds himself covered in blood. He finds that he's survived thanks to the Terror Mask, a sentient Mayan sacrificial artifact that is fused with his face, turning him into a superhuman monster. But none of this story is shown to you, at least not in this version. There's a brief intro showing the house in the distance as the storm rages on. And yes, he also looked just a little bit too much like Jason Voorhees, so in the US version they modified the mask and changed the colors to red and black. What was that? Did you guys hear that? Anyway, it is a beat-em-up, but it isn't entirely like all the rest. Unlike The Simpsons or X-Men arcade games, this isn't just moving from one side to the other and hitting everything you see. Well, there is that too, but there are also timed movements, platforming segments, and other creative uses of the genre. You have 3 attacks, a punch, a low kick, and a sliding special attack. Most stages also have weapons you can pick up, which you'll drop if you get hit. The weapons do far more damage than your fists, and most are exceptionally satisfying to use. Like splattering creatures against the wall with a 2x4. You'll fight through 7 stages, each with unique and well-crafted bosses. Sometimes they go for the cheap scares, and other times, well, it'll just plain creep you out. Speaking of creeping you out, the music is fantastic. It always evokes just the right mood, like in these underground scenes where the tension keeps building. This game is an arcade beat-em-up, and is almost exactly like its arcade counterpart. Well, except for the massive amounts of censorship that it went through, but I'll come back to that later. Seriously, am I the only one hearing that? So Rick pummels his way through the house, eventually finding Jennifer lying on a couch surrounded by monsters. They rush off upon seeing Rick. Jennifer then transforms into a monster, all the while screaming for help. You're unable to save her after what the monsters did to her, and you're actually forced to murder her yourself. That is seriously messed up. So you follow them down into the depths of the house in order to get revenge. Then, it gets really messed up. The house is a living being. As you pass through, these fetuses start popping out of the walls. Like house fetuses. No, really, I couldn't make this stuff up. Speaking of which, these guys are really annoying. If you fail to kill them before they break out of their, I don't know, placenta? Gross. Anyway, if you don't kill them before they break out, they jump up and cling to you, and you really don't want that. Seriously, was that you? Anyway, once you've destroyed the house's, womb? Gross. The house catches on fire and you escape, but not before the mask resurrects this guy. Seriously, this is an awesome boss. Now, I mentioned before that this game is censored for American audiences. Here's some comparisons from the original arcade game to give you some perspective. This scene in particular, here's how it plays in the original arcade version. And here's the TurboGrafx 16 version. The church is gone, and the scene is completely changed because of it. This meat cleaver was removed as well. I guess decapitations were just too far over the line. This inverted cross enemy was replaced by this demon skull, but retained the floating heads. And this lovely womb death scene was removed in both the US and Japanese console versions. Weird. Also, the after credits scene was removed and just replaced with the word end. Was the original ending just too scary, with the shattered mask reforming and laughing? I mean, that's kind of a horror movie staple, guys. So what was wrong with keeping that scene when we just saw a scene where we murdered our girlfriend in order to keep her from turning into a monster? Your concept of over the line kind of baffles me. It'll only take you a short evening to finish this game. In fact, speedrunners can do it without cheats in under 15 minutes. That doesn't mean it isn't worth it, though. Splatterhouse currently has a value at around $28, so it's a bit high-priced, but all in all it's a fantastic translation of an arcade classic. If at all possible, though, track down the Japanese PC Engine version for a complete uncensored version. Okay, seriously, that's... Cheetah! It's... Help! My entrails! No, I need those! Ah! Actually, it was probably just my cats.